I want to talk to you about my approach to selecting a novel for this class. The vast majority of introduction to literature courses, I'm saying like 99 out of 100, the teacher assigns a novel to the students, and you must read that novel because the teacher thinks it's important. I have done surveys of my students and found out that probably about 8 out of 10 college students never pick up a book to read it unless it's been assigned for a course. I want you to think about that. Is because somewhere along the way, children have had the love of reading crushed out of them. And the number one group of human beings responsible for that, English teachers are responsible for that. It's because they have this idea of the novel from the literary canon being so important that it's more important than the student's enjoyment of reading. And so, well, for my experience, for instance, when I was in junior high school, my teacher forced everybody to read the book Moby Dick. I read it. I loved science fiction. I didn't realize that in some ways, Moby Dick was a science fiction book. The way the teacher deconstructed the book and kind of hid the theme from us and was like, you have to decide what the theme is because I know it and you don't, and you have to figure it out. Otherwise, you're not going to get a good grade on this test. It really kind of crushed me. I felt really unworthy as a reader, even though I was voluntarily reading books for the pure joy of it up until that point. Moby Dick is 170 years old. Think about that. There are plenty of new books right now that you could read that are more contemporary, that have more meaning to you. I just have a few books kicking around in my house. Here's one. Angela's Ashes won the Pulitzer Prize. Frank McCourt. Great book. It's not in the literary canon. Charles Johnson's book, Middle Passage. This won the National Book Award for a story that's not that much different than Moby Dick, only it's more contemporary. It's written in 1990, but it's still, pretty relevant today. It's about an African American young man who gets stuck on a boat going to Africa to pick up slaves. He's recently freed. Suddenly, he's stuck on this boat that's going to pick up other young men like him and put them into slavery. And it's a seafaring novel, but it's got like very contemporary themes in it that Moby Dick never would be able to touch because it was written 170 years ago. It's funny. Here's another book that has nothing to do with our class, and yet it does. This is the real book. It's the canon of 400 jazz tunes that is, considered the literary canon of jazz. But, in the canon of the literary canon of novels and short stories and poems and plays that you could read, I think that could change. I think that we could all argue that this book that I'm reading right now, put any book in there that you like. The Mockingjay, okay? It's worthy of study in college because that's what I'd like you to do, is find a book that you really want to read so that by the end of this semester, I haven't crushed the love of reading out of you. I've inspired you to pick up a book voluntarily, again, on your own, because you've discovered or rediscovered the love of reading, okay? That's going to be our goal for selecting a novel this semester. Enjoy.